Albus Dumbledore. Albus Percival Wulfric Brian Dumbledore is a fictional character in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter series. Dumbledore was portrayed by Richard Harris in the film adaptations of Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. After Harris' death, Michael Gambon portrayed Dumbledore for all of the remaining Harry Potter films. Jude Law portrayed Dumbledore as a young man in the prequel film Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Character development. Rowling has stated that she enjoys writing Dumbledore because he is the epitome of goodness. She said that Dumbledore speaks for her, as he knows pretty much everything about the Harry Potter universe. Rowling mentioned that Dumbledore regrets that he has always had to be the one who knew, and who had the burden of knowing, and he would rather not know. As a mentor to the central character Harry Potter, Dumbledore is a very wise man who knows that Harry is going to have to learn a few hard lessons to prepare him for what may appearances. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. In the opening chapter of the first novel of the series, Dumbledore arrives at number 4, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. In the second novel, a younger Dumbledore appears in a series of flashbacks, seen by Harry in a diary once owned by Tom Riddle, the most gifted student in Hogwarts history, and the future Lord Voldemort. Through the diary, Harry sees Riddle's memory of Dumbledore questioning him about a series of attacks on Muggle-born students. In the present, Lucius Malfoy forces the school's other 11 governors to suspend Dumbledore as headmaster in the wake of attacks by a basilisk in the school, when the chamber. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. At the beginning of the third novel, Dumbledore is forced to accept Dementors onto his school's grounds for the protection of his students from Sirius Black, a supposed murderer and accessory to murder who had escaped from Azkaban. After Black's breach into Hogwarts, Dumbledore issues orders to close every entrance to the school and grounds. After Harry falls off his broomstick during a Quidditch match because of the Dementors, Dumbledore becomes uncharacteristically angry with them and uses his wand to call Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. In the fourth novel, Dumbledore introduces the Triwizard Tournament. He also serves as a judge during the entire event. When Harry's name comes out of the Goblet of Fire, Dumbledore is not enraged, but remains calm, simply asking Harry whether he had himself, or had asked an older student to submit his name, although in the film version he does get angry to the point of manhandling Harry. When Harry answers no, he believes him. By the end of the book, Dumbledore's fears. Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. In the fifth book, Dumbledore is demoted from Chief Warlock of the Wizengamot, voted out of the chairmanship of the International Confederation of Wizards, and is almost stripped of his Order of Merlin First Class due to his speeches regarding the return of Voldemort, although it is reported that he is unconcerned as long as he is not taken off the chocolate frog cards. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Magic does everything they can to discredit him and Harry, mainly through the Daily Prophet. At the beginning of the book, during the following year at Hogwarts, the Ministry passes Educational Decree 22, allowing Fudge to place Dolores Umbridge to the post of Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher after Dumbledore failed to find a suitable candidate. Dumbledore is not heard of again in the book until he arrives in the Department of Mysteries to aid the Order in the battle against Voldemort's followers, the Death Eaters. He subdues all the Death Eaters, except for Bellatrix Lestrange, and binds them with an anti-disapparition jinx to prevent them from magically escaping. He then saves Harry from the Avada Kedavra curse conjured by Voldemort and engages in a ferocious duel with the Dark Lord. Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. In the sixth book, Dumbledore fetches Harry from Privet Drive and takes him to persuade Horace Slughorn to rejoin the Hogwarts staff. Harry notices that Dumbledore's right hand is shriveled and black. During the school year, Dumbledore teaches Harry of events in Voldemort's past that he feels are of immense importance. Using the pensieve, they visit the memories of others, which contain important information about Voldemort's life and his genocidal rise to power. While using the pensieve, Harry sees it is learned that Voldemort created 6 Horcruxes to gain immortality, and that they must all be destroyed before Harry goes after the final piece of Voldemort's soul in the Dark Lord's body. Harry also repeatedly warns Dumbledore in most of their lessons that school bully Draco Malfoy is working for Voldemort. Dumbledore refuses to take any action against Draco, and instead tells Harry that he already knows more about what is happening than Harry does. By the end of the book, Dumbledore and Harry set out to the cave where Dumbledore believes a Horcrux resides. In the cave, Dumbledore drinks a potion inside the Horcrux's container. While drinking it, he begins to scream, seemingly enduring mental torture. Shortly after his death, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Portrayals within films. In the film adaptations of Philosopher's Stone 2001 and Chamber of Secrets 2002, Dumbledore was played by Richard Harris, who was expected to play the character throughout the series. Harris was not the producer's first choice. The studio initially approached Sean Connery and Patrick McGoohan for the role. Connery, who disliked the film's subject matter, turned down the role, while McGoohan, who showed interest, stepped away due to his declining health. Harris mentioned that Toby Rigbo was chosen to portray Dumbledore in his youth in Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, for flashbacks scenes which provide essential information on the character's backstory. Jude Law played the role of a younger Dumbledore in the second prequel film, Fantastic Beasts: The Crimes of Grindelwald. Characterization. Appearance. Albus Dumbledore is tall and thin, with silver hair and beard auburn in his youth so long that they can be tucked into his belt. He has a very long and crooked nose that looks as if it has been broken at least twice. It is speculated that his brother's punch during their sister's funeral may have played a role in shaping his nose. He is also said to have long and skillful fingers. His eyes are described as being a brilliant, soul-piercing shade of blue, and usually twinkled with kindness and mischief. Dumbledore wears half-moon spectacles and a colorful array of robes ranging from purple to bright orange. He once claimed to have a scar above his left knee in the precise shape of a map of the London Underground, but whether or not he actually does is unknown. His demeanor is often, if not always, serene and ethereal, and he usually speaks in a calm, pleasant voice even when Harry thought that he is actually furious. During the last year of his life, Dumbledore's right hand, scarred when he dons Marvolo Gaunt's ring, which was cursed. Had Snape not intervened with a counter-curse, Dumbledore would have died much more quickly. Regardless, the curse left his hand blackened and dead-looking, and no amount of healing could repair the appearance. According to Snape, the curse would eventually spread itself from the contained hand, and Dumbledore was doomed to die in no more than 1 year's time. Whether this means the blackening death. Personality, magical abilities and skills. Since a young age, Dumbledore has always shown great magical abilities. During his education at Hogwarts, Dumbledore was known as the most brilliant student to have ever stepped into the school, winning every prize of note that the school offered, and in his NEWTS did things with a wand the examiner had never seen before. Rowling has said that Dumbledore is primarily self-taught, although he had access to superb teachers at Hogwarts, and, as far as his times to Harry in their occasional meetings in Half-Blood Prince, that he makes mistakes, and since he is smarter than most men, His mistakes tend to be correspondingly hooger. Dumbledore is an expert at nonverbal spells and is famous as an alchemist who has worked with Nicholas Flamel. His knowledge of the most powerful kind of magic, love, is extensive. He taught Harry about its very essence and the innate power of his ability to love his parents, which eventually helped Harry realize his destiny to kill Lord Voldemort. He is known to be able to conjure Gabrathian fire, magical everlasting fire. He has claimed to be able to become invisible without using an invisibility cloak, which is a powerful disillusionment charm. Dumbledore is also skilled in occlumency and legilimency. Possessions. Dumbledore's office houses a number of curious instruments. Among them is a pensieve, a stone receptacle used to store and review memories, which witches and wizards are able to extract from their heads as a type of fluid. Harry first discovers this device in Goblet of Fire, and it is frequently used for flashback scenes throughout the remainder of the series. In the first chapter of Philosopher's Stone, Dumbledore is seen using the Deluminator, a device for removing and later backstory. Through various interviews and discussions about the character, Rowling has established that Albus Dumbledore was born in July or August 1881, when Dumbledore and his friend Elphias Doge leave Hogwarts at the age of 18. They plan to take their then traditional tour of the world. On the eve of their trip, however, Ariana accidentally kills Kendra during one of her uncontrolled outbursts of magic. Because Dumbledore's parents are absent, his father in Azkaban and his mother dead, he becomes the head of the family, and it becomes his duty to put food on the table, as the family's misfortunes have left them poor. He is forced to remain in his house. When Gellert Grindelwald arrives at Godric's Hollow, he and Dumbledore become immediate friends, and the two dream of a new world order in which wizards rule over muggles for the greater good. Dumbledore and Grindelwald suggest that they have to leave the Dumbledore home to carry on their plans, but Aberforth protested against this, as Ariana's condition would not allow her to be moved. The ensuing argument between Albus, Aberforth, and Grindelwald turns into a duel, and as Ariana becomes more and more stable. Reception. The character of Albus Dumbledore has been compared to other archetypal wise old man characters. Dumbledore acts much like Merlin from The Sword in the Stone, in the manner of an absent-minded professor. Both Merlin and Dumbledore educate a story's main character in a castle. As writer Evelyn Perry notes, Dumbledore resembles Merlin both personally and physically. He is an avid lover of books and wisdom, who wears flowing robes and a long, white beard. Dumbledore has also been Sexuality. Rowling's statement that Dumbledore was gay caused a great debate among critics. Melissa Anally, webmaster of the fan site The Leaky Cauldron, told the Associated Press, J.K. Rowling calling any Harry Potter character gay would make wonderful strides in tolerance toward homosexuality. Regarding Dumbledore's sexuality in the Fantastic Beasts series, Rowling said in 2016 that, as far as his sexuality is concerned, watch this space. In popular culture,